the Curd Apes podcast. I'm your host, Victor, and as always, this is our co-hominid, Connor. How you doing?
Good. Just got my dinner. So,
Nice.
all hyped and ready to look at some spoilers.
Oh, what'd you have for dinner? What'd you get for dinner?
Oh, I got a thali.
Dali.
A thali. It's basically like an assortment of curries with rice and naan. It's really cheap, so it was good.
That sounds great.
It's,
Naan is delicious.
it's underrated, very underrated. So sounds
Very
good.
nice.
Yeah. So this is a
I had butter chicken for dinner as well, actually.
So this is a half mukbang. It's not the full one because unless you have snacks, I don't know what.
Nah. Oh, well, I might get some. Who knows? But for now, I'm currently not in the process of consuming edibles.
But we're consuming something else.
Yeah. Cards.
That was so enthusiastic.
I was trying to figure out how to make that segue sound good, and I think I failed miserably. But, yeah. So this is our set sort of review, spoiler episode, I suppose. We have a collection of cards lined up for today. But yeah, the plan is that we're not going to go over every card in the set, but we're just going to talk about the standouts as we see them, and just cards that we're personally excited to play, things that we think are interesting, and kind of see what happens. Usually, or in the past, we've done split this up into 2 episodes, but since we took the week off last week, we're doing it all in one giant card discussion extravaganza. So yeah.
Yep.
Let's kick it off. Let's see what happens. Do you wanna start us off with a card?
Sounds good. Actually, you started off because I'm going to close my window.
All right. They all know you.
Yep. Yeah. You start.
Sweet. Well, I'd better start with something pretty interesting then. So I'm just having a look through. Yeah, I guess this is the card that everyone expects me to talk about, including myself. So I'm just gonna kick it off with this. And that is Kaya, Geist Hunter. So she is 1, a white and a black for a Planeswalker, legendary Planeswalker, and 3 loyalty. Her +1 says creatures you control gain Death Touch until end of turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature token you control. -2 says until end of turn, if 1 or more creature tokens would be created, you make twice that many instead. And her ultimate is -6. Exile all cards from all graveyards and make that many 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying.
So
that's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
So I knew this would be your first one.
Yeah.
I didn't put on my list spoilers because I knew you would talk about it. But I've seen some very mixed reviews about this card.
Yes.
I think it's one of those cards that will need to prove itself.
Right.
Because I don't think it's good enough in Modern.
Yeah.
Where I know there's been some hype about the black-white tokens, and you've been part of that hype as well.
Yeah, I'll talk more about that, but you go first.
But you need things. You need cards these days to do something when they enter the battlefield and have no help. This needs help.
Yeah.
That's the only real issue with it.
Yeah.
Well,
No, I agree with that. I think definitely, I don't think you can play this in a deck. I mean, obviously, like 2 of the abilities require you pretty much to play tokens to get them to do anything, unless you just want a like Death Touch Anthem, which I don't think is what any modern historic Pioneer or Standard deck is looking for. But I guess it does have some power, being a 3-mana way to kind of have I guess like 1.5, like 2-ish shots at a doubling season-y kind of effect. But only for tokens. But yeah, or what's it called? Parallel lives? I don't know. There's a few of those effects.
Yeah.
But I mean, whenever you see a black or white 3-mana Planeswalker, personally, I'm always thinking of trying to slot it into like my sort of Abzan or whatever mid-range lists, and this specifically is supposed to work with tokens. So I'm obviously quite excited that they finally made something for that slot because I'm really looking forward to getting some new toys for that slot. But yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you. It's the turn it comes into play. If you have a token, then I guess the ceiling on it is like you give it +1 and death touch and like swing in, get a couple of damage maybe.
I think like for modern, the ceiling is like play this on turn 5 and with the extra 2 mana like down tick and play Lingering Souls.
The thing is, I don't even think that's good because you could just play Lingering Souls.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's like one of the strongest play patterns with the card, and it's not even that good.
I agree with you. Yeah. So because that's the thing, I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, what things can you copy with this? But the issue is, in a lot of cases, especially in modern, you just don't really need that many. I feel like if you keep any number of tokens on the board in a tokens deck, you're in a pretty good spot usually. As you're like dealing with the rest of your opponent's creatures, and this giving you more tokens at a mana rate, like most of your cards that make tokens are gonna make like 2 for like 2 or 3 mana, and this is just gonna be an extra 2 tokens for 3 mana, which doesn't seem great when it needs to interact with another card to achieve that.
Yeah.
However, it's still cool. Yeah.
I think this competes with Grist in modern, and that's
yes.
And Grist, even if you have to even splashing for green, it is so much better.
Oh yeah. I guess of note, you can't play Kahira in a Grist deck, whereas you can play Kahira in a Kaya deck.
Yeah, you're right. you found the
Big
one
deal.
You found the one pro of Kaya.
Yeah.
You found the one pro of Kaya.
Yeah. Yeah, Grist is almost certainly better. But I guess aside from the fact that the card is still pretty sweet, and yeah, who knows? There could be interesting interactions that allow it to be good. Yeah, does it have any applications in non-modern formats, do you reckon?
I mean, it can copy a Ren token. Does that work? That works. Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
And it can copy non-creature tokens, which is an effect that we don't see too often, I think.
You can copy blood tokens.
Yes, well, I guess that's probably going to happen quite a bit in Limited.
What, copying blood tokens? No way.
Well, if you have this,
if you have a Kaya.
Yeah.
I don't think that's worth. -2 to get a blood token. I don't think that's worth.
If you're making multiple in a turn, yeah, maybe not. Even then,
I don't even think so.
Is this even good? Would you play this in Limited?
No, probably not.
Oh man, I really like this card. I'm not dunking on it. I like the card, but I do think it's not good.
Nah, it's a bit of a dud for me, I think.
Yeah. But interesting design, and yeah, who knows? Maybe there's some sneaky interactions that we just haven't really seen yet. I guess one thing I was thinking is like if you have what's the I was thinking of the blue-red enchantment whenever you cast the second spell, or no, whenever you draw the second card in your turn, you get like a 1/1 or something like that.
I can't remember what that card's called.
Yeah, but it's effects like that let you produce tokens repeatedly after investing on them in the early game, might allow you to play Kaya and minus and get value immediately, or like start to make a board sort of thing. And that point could be interesting, but yeah, I think it's just going to take too much work to make that good. But still cool to think about.
Yeah, it's one of those cards that it definitely needs to be synergy based. Like it, and even then, I don't know. There's hopes. I have hope, but I just can't. I just can't see it. You know.
Okay. I found the solution. So you play it in a Karth deck. So she comes in with 4 loyalty, and her +1's a +2. And then you can immediately -6 the turn after, and wipe the graveyard and get a bunch of 1/1s.
Wipe the graveyard. How many cards do you even have in your graveyard at this point?
You thought seize them on turn 1.
You play this in Dredge. You play Karth Dredge.
Now we're getting real deep in the jank. Anyways, that's Kaya. Definitely, yeah, interesting. But I think that's all I have for that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have a selection of cards
Oh.
that I want to talk about here.
All right, take it
So-
away.
What I've seen, this is very vampire based,
Ooh.
and there already has been some black and black-red aggressive decks showing up in Standard that we've seen over the past few months. Albeit that, well, they're not that great, but I think with the addition of these vampires in the set, they could be really powerful, and that's Voldaren Bloodcaster, which is 1 and a black for a 2/1 flying, so it's a welcome turn. When it or another non-token creature you control dies, create a blood token. And whenever you create a blood token, if you control 5 or more blood tokens, transform it. And it transforms into a 3/3 flying vampire wizard, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 target blood token you control becomes a 2/2 black bat creature with flying and haste. Now this card,
Right.
already on the front side, the rate is really good. 2 mana.
Yeah, who wouldn't play a welcome turn?
Yeah, exactly. 2 mana, 2/1 flyer with like several upsides. We can go over a blood token, right?
Nah, yeah, probably should say what that does.
It's a game object. It's
Oh, sweet.
it's an artifact with 1 and tap. Discard a card, sacrifice this artifact to draw a card. So you get to rummage. You get to pay 1 and rummage. And they've got
Nice.
tons of other applications with stuff like the Bloodcaster. And this could be such an aggressive threat if you're going like into the blood token kind of theme. And I haven't really seen too much other like blood token payoffs that are that powerful for Standard, I think, but this is the main one I feel.
Yeah.
Pretty good. But alongside this, you would like this one. Dominating Vampire.
Oh, yes, I do like that one.
Yeah. That's 1 red for a 3/3 vampire, and when it ETBs, you gain control of a creature with mana value less than or equal to the number of vampires you control until end of turn. Untap that creature and it gains haste. So you get to threaten the creature when it ETBs. Unfortunately, this does not have haste. That would be cool, but I think that would be a bit too much. But
It does if you have the werewolf in play that gives +1/+0.
I don't know if that is quite the synergy that you're wanting.
No, probably not.
The threaten effects have not been good in Standard. They're marginal and limited. But this coming with a 3/3 body, like on rate, 3 mana, 3/3, like all these cards are like great rate for.
Yeah. They're on-tried members with decent bodies.
Yeah.
And upside to boot.
Yeah, and just the equal to the number of vampires. So you are playing this in a vampire deck, nothing else.
Still a Ren token.
Steal a Ren token, jeez. That would be cool. But yeah, you still, because I feel like I'll talk about this later as well. I feel like aggro decks are definitely getting a huge buff, and this is a good way to kind of break the aggro mirror, I feel.
Yeah. Is this main board or sideboard?
Oh, this is main board.
Main board. Just
Yeah.
straight up 4 of, slam them.
Probably not. It depends on the meta.
I guess that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. If the meta is aggro based, then you want 4, but I feel like that you'll probably end up 2 to 3.
Oh, yeah.
You'll probably play more on the sideboard.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm pretty excited to be casting this card, honestly. I want to play a vampires deck.
Yeah.
I'm going to be brewing around with it.
Yeah. And the third vampire that I have in this trio is Blood Vial Purveyor. There's 2 black for a 5/6 vampire with Flample.
Classic.
Yep. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player creates a blood token. So yeah, they get blood tokens. That's fine. But whenever the Purveyor attacks, it gets +1/+0 for each blood token defending player controls.
Oh, yes.
So this is a 4 mana 5/6 flying trample, way above rate. So this is top of the curve stuff. They get blood tokens, but this gets pumped for each of their blood tokens. So if they want to cast spells, they're getting hit for more.
That's terrifying, yeah.
And I kind of, it's not really that great of a comparison, but Desecration Demon back in Theros Standard
Yep.
was such a house in like the mono black aggro
I
decks.
was thinking that's a new one.
Yeah, yeah,
Mono
yeah.
blue desecration demon.
Yeah, in the mono black aggro decks, and I feel like this is about the same kind of rate. And yeah, I feel like with these kind of cards, there will definitely be some black red vampire aggressive decks.
Yeah, I feel like usually these kind of stats come with a downside, a pretty significant one.
This
Like
isn't
you
even that much
literally
of a
can't win.
downside.
Yeah, barely, to be honest. I
Yeah,
mean, people do get to dig for removal, but
sure, yeah, but
yeah, I
this
mean,
this needs removal.
yeah.
You're dying if
And it's
this
not
stays
easy
at
to
5.
remove it either. Like in the mono green deck, you have to have something bigger than it to fight. And 5/6 means it doesn't die to like an old growth troll with a pump.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
the I don't know, Blizzard Brawl or whatever.
Oh yeah, true, true.
So the 6 toughness is actually kind of relevant.
Mm.
It does get kind of got by Fading Hope.
Yeah,
But
I guess they don't get the scry though.
right.
But
Oh, because it doesn't. It's not small enough. Yeah, that's right.
it's
That's
four.
another
It's
way.
4 mana. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I just wanted to showcase these vampires as like
Totally, totally.
I feel like there hasn't been many. Well, there haven't been many changes in aggressive decks recently. There's been mono white, mono green. That's been basically it. There's been other fringe black and red aggressive decks, but they haven't been very good compared to what we've had with the white
That's
and
true.
green decks. I feel like this could definitely be a contender.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of that.
Yeah, yeah. Back to you.
All right, all right. Thank you. So what am I going to talk about next? I guess while we're on the topic of some potent creatures, I
Potent.
also want to talk about like a group of them. Uh, and those are in the zombie tribe. So I guess we'll go in order of mana cost. And I'm going to talk about Graph Reaver, which is 1 and a black. It's a zombie warrior. That's a 3/3. That's right, 3/3 for 2. It has exploit, and when it exploits a creature, you destroy a planeswalker, and it has the downside that you take 1 damage in your upkeep.
Hmm.
Oh no!
Hmm. Yeah. Oh no. Anyway.
Yeah. So what we were saying about this is they downgraded spoilers. They downgraded Hero's Downfall to a uncommon in the set. And it makes sense when you look at this because this is Hero's Downfall for 2 mana as a 3/3. I mean, kind of different. You can't kill a creature with it. It only kills a planeswalker. But yeah, I mean that's a powerful set of stats. A 3/3 for 2 with the ability to just straight up kill a planeswalker. You can exploit itself. You can exploit other things. And worst case is just a solid threat. I kind of like it.
Yeah, just even On you're gonna play this on turn 2 every time, and
Yep.
in the late game, it just kills a planeswalker.
Yeah, I honestly don't think the planeswalker mode is actually going to come up very often in a lot of formats.
No, because really the only playable planeswalker at the moment is Ren.
Yeah.
I guess it is quite common, but the mono green decks are only playing like 2 of them now.
Yeah, but something I've noticed that I feel like this has potential at least as a sideboard option in black decks across formats because if you're playing sort of like a control-y or mid-rangey black deck, you can totally just chuck this in your sideboard. If you got bad cards to take out of the matchup, chuck this in as like an aggressive filler. And if you actually have to play kill planeswalkers, then you've got like a what's it, Eldest Reborn, that's a bit less tough on the mana and comes with a 3/3 when they don't have anything on the board.
Yeah, I didn't think about it in non-standard formats actually. That's interesting.
Yeah, but I feel like I could definitely see this as like a one-of in modern decks, like modern sideboards or something.
Potentially depends what you're destroying.
Tutor target in what's it called? The
Yawgmoth.
what's that deck? Yawgmoth deck. Yeah, that's the one.
Oh no, it quite cleanly answers Ren. Ren and 6
Yeah, there we go.
on turn 2. Oh, that's decent. You obviously get 2 for 1, but well, actually, if you're playing, actually, this could be really good in something like black red zombies in modern with like goblin bombardment.
Yeah, exactly. Because if it's in a deck that's either a sacrifice deck or a zombie deck, it's just even better.
Just sack like a Stitches supplier or like a grave crawler or something.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
That's interesting, actually. That I might actually try that. I might try
Nice.
it out.
I mean, that's a fwet, you know.
It is. It is a decent threat.
And you spend 2 mana on it, but you gain 3 life when it gets solituded.
Hey.
Also, it blocks Ragavan.
That's the real winner right there.
The real winner.
That's the real winner.
Just put this in any black deck just so you can block a Ragavan.
Does get bolted though.
Yeah. But if you can keep them off Delirium, it doesn't die to Unholy Heat.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's not too much to say about this card, really, aside from that. But it's just... I saw this and I was like, wow, this is subtly pushed in all directions.
Yeah, it's going to be good at any point in the game.
Yeah.
So.
And so to go along with that, there's the next up, Headless Rider, which is 2 and a black for a zombie 3/1. And when it or another non-token zombie dies that you control, you get a 2/2 black zombie creature token with no decay of note.
Yeah.
And that's what really makes this interesting, because when I was reading this, I was like, that's cool. Like 3/1 for 3 zombie, that can be pretty decent. But like the fact that even if it dies, even if your opponent kills this, the floor is you play a 3/1. I guess the floor is you play a 3/1 against exiled. But for the most part, like if they actually spend removal that kills it on this, then you just get a 2/2 back. So your stats are already pretty decent. And if they kill anything else, if there's like a board wipe or anything and this isn't played, then you just get a board full of zombies again. You can sacrifice your other zombies. It doesn't even have to be your opponent that kills them. You get more zombie tokens. And it just seems like a really powerful card for 3 mana with a decent body, decent aggressive body again. So, like, wow, zombies are looking scary.
I believe this is a great card, but I have one issue.
Yes.
Spikefield Hazard.
Yeah, Spikefield Hazard is pretty good against this card.
That's the only issue I have. Unless Spikefield Hazard decks go down in popularity, I feel like this won't be able to really flourish, you know?
I'm not 100% sure, because so far I haven't seen that many decks running a full 4 Spikefield Hazards. A lot of the Spikefield Hazard decks that I've seen have been running like 2, maybe 3. And I suppose that's still pretty rough if they actually have it. But
yeah, but
as somebody who's played, yeah?
But
sorry?
With the rise of all these aggressive decks, you got mono white, you got vampires, you got zombies. They've all got great 1 toughness threats.
That's true.
And the meta's going to shift in a way that these blue-red decks are going to just play 4. Because it is just a land in the mirror.
Yeah,
or in the green matchup or whatever. So,
although I will say, as a 3-drop here, like Spikefield Hazard, I feel like is easiest to use on turn 1 and 2. When you just like play a land and you're not necessarily going to need your mana untapped to play something on 2, like as a control deck. So you just sort of like hold up your mana or whatever, and you go like, yeah, I can always play this as a land later if they don't have a target for it. But I feel like a lot of times by turn 3, I've played my Spikefield Hazard just to have my tapped land out of the way so that I can actually have mana open and do stuff with my mana properly later. So I guess that's not necessarily to say that people won't be holding the Spikefield Hazards for this, but it might just necessitate a slight change in playstyle.
Yeah, that more comes down to understanding of the matchup. Where you'd much rather hold them.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, I feel like with the additions, with the zombie additions in this set, the previous zombies in the Innistrad set, they're just the other one. I can't remember the name of it. Midnight
Champion of the Perished.
Yeah, well, in Midnight, yeah, Champion of the Perished. You've got the zombie lord, the blue-black zombie lord.
Oh yes.
I feel Jadders as well, not Jadders.
Jadir, I think?
Jadir, yeah.
Or was it Yader?
Yader. Darth Yader. Yeah. I feel like you've got a really powerful deck coming along there.
Yeah, I already have a zombie deck. I've got a blue-black zombies list crafted from Midnight Hunt, so putting a few new powerful additions from this set into it is going to be quite a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and especially
Um,
with Jadar, you're able to fuel exploit every turn.
yeah, yeah.
And that is very powerful. If you're able to maximize the exploiting of your creatures, then I feel like that you'll have like decent tools
Yeah,
for
for
any
sure.
matchup.
I guess actually, I still have a couple of zombies to talk about.
Okay, yeah,
but
yeah, keep going.
sweet, sweet, sweet. Just before finishing off with this card, aristocrats in modern, maybe like
Um,
aristocrat zombies.
well, yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Was
Right.
the black red goblin bombardment deck?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like because you
maybe.
were talking about that for Graph Reaper, but I think this card also fits into that sort of list.
Yeah, yeah,
Graph Reaper.
yeah. I don't know if it would be better than Mayhem Devil. You can just play them side by side.
Maybe. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess I haven't actually played the deck myself, so I'm not sure how the curve looks like. But
Mm.
definitely an interesting card because yeah, again, you play this like sack your board to bombardment, sack your board to bombardment again with the 2/2s that you get off this. That's
Yeah,
pretty powerful.
that is pretty powerful. Build your own Bolus' Citadel.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next zombie on my zombie list, there's actually So there's two. There's Overcharged Amalgam, which I am super hyped for. That's probably the card. It might be the card I'm most excited to play in Standard, honestly. And it's a 2 and blue zombie horror. That's a 3/3. It has flash, flying, and exploit. And whenever it exploits a creature, you counter a spell, activated ability, or triggered ability.
Yes, this one.
So it's a counter spell for 4 mana that can also be a 3/3 flying threat if you sack something else that you don't care about as much. And not only does it counter a spell, but it also counters activated or triggered abilities, which is not necessarily going to come up all the time, but there's definitely going to be times when you're going to be happy to have that. And wow, I mean, one of the techniques I had or approaches I had for deck building when Epiphany was really the deck to beat, and I suppose it still is, but the aggro decks have sort of managed to strike a balance with it at this point, I feel like. But after Worlds, when it was really Epiphany, I was like, okay, I need to find some flash cards so I can get around the counter spells and stuff like that. And there were so few good flash cards in Standard.
Yeah.
And I think this is a really good flash card.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Are you playing this in a zombie deck?
I'm gonna try it in the zombie deck because it's already blue-black for the Lord and potentially some other cards. Having a counterspell and a threat on this, you can sacrifice the Jeddir's, as we were saying, Jadir token to get the full value of this. I feel like there's potential at least.
It's just kind of awkward where you're trying to play this aggressive game plan, and then on turn 4 you hold up a creature, like you're holding up a spell basically.
Kinda, but I feel like it's not that awkward because a 3/3 flying is not a terrible deal as well. So against like a control deck, if they just don't play anything, you just flash this in, you can get good block value out of nowhere, even if you're not countering a spell, potentially. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it won't be that hard to make this good. And one of the issues, or one of the reasons that I wanted to keep zombies in black-blue when I was building the deck was that I wanted to have counterspells so I could deal with Alrund's Epiphany if I'm not fast enough. And I feel like this helps kind of solve that problem, or at least give you more interaction for those powerful late-game haymakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But at the same time, I think it won't be too hard to make this work. I guess the question is, how many do you play? Because I can definitely see it being clunky if you have like a full 4.
No, I think you'd play 2 probably, but then
Right.
in the control matches maybe you would have like one more on the sideboard or something like that.
Yeah, that could be interesting to try.
Something
I'll
like
start out with 4 myself, but go down from there.
yeah. You always start with 4 and
Yeah.
see how it plays.
And then I guess final for the just a quick note from an uncommon, which is Skull Scab, which is blue black for a 2/2 zombie. It also has exploit, and whenever a creature you control exploits a non-token creature, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So I feel like this is a pretty interesting card because it doesn't just happen once when you play that card itself. You do have to exploit a non-token for it to trigger. But again, this has the potential to just, like, as a 2-drop, give you a decent amount of value in the long game.
And it stacks as well.
Oh yeah, it does. So if you have multiples,
it's whenever you exploit a creature, right? So it doesn't even
a non-token.
yeah, a non-token. So it triggers off other things, other exploits as well.
Yep, exactly. So for example, the amalgam.
Yeah, the amalgam. It's multiples of itself.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I don't know if this fits. Like, I'm not sure how you build the deck to check this in, but just a card that I saw again, and I was like, wow, this actually has some power. There's definitely potential here.
Yeah, there's definitely some good stuff there.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for my list of zombies. So I'll hand back over to you for your next set or next card.
Well, sticking with the aggro decks, I've been playing mono white quite a bit. I did quite well in one of the Red Bull events. With mono white. Also, O2 dropped in the other one, but we don't talk about that one.
No, it didn't happen.
No, that one didn't happen. Yeah, exactly. It happened so quick, I barely saw it as well.
Oh no!
But obviously, one of the big name cards of the set is Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. For anyone who doesn't know, and I'm surprised if anyone listening to this didn't know, there's 1 and a white, 2/1 legendary creature, human soldier, first strike, and non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. So I like the issue I have with this is the build I have in mono white is built around Paladin class, and I don't think you can play both of them.
Nah, easy. You just play Paladin class on turn 1, Thalia on turn 2.
Paladin class isn't even good on turn 1 though. You just want to play creature on turn 1.
Yeah.
And Paladin class at 2 mana is so much worse.
Yeah.
But there are other versions of the deck that don't play Paladin class that are more creature focused, which this could fit into, which will fit into it. Like, this will see play.
Yeah, this card's crazy good.
Because one of the banes of the deck is Syndiclasm, Meathook Massacre as well, and them just getting 1 extra turn, buying yourself 1 extra turn from these board wides can really be the end of the game for the opponent.
Yeah, and I like that you can go turn 2 this into turn 3 Paolo. Spellbinder something?
Mate, Elite Spellbinder.
Elite Spellbinder.
Yeah, that's pretty good threat. Again though, X1s, there's gonna be so many Spikefield hazards.
Yeah, that's true. But Spikefield cost them 2 mana with us out.
Yeah, that is true. 2 mana do 1. But no, there's not too much really to say about Thalia. We know it's been good. It's been good in Modern up until recently because decks are just going over the top of Thalia nowadays. But another card that I think could fit into maybe not the main deck, but I feel like it's got a good chance of being in the sideboard, is Welcoming Vampire. Which is
yes.
2 and a white.
It's on my list as well.
Yeah, it's great. 2 and a white for a 2/3 flying vampire. Whenever 1 or more other creatures with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. And this ability triggers only once each turn. So there's been a few cards like this that we've seen in the past. There's been Bygone Bishop, which is probably the best comparison, which made clues.
Oh yes,
but
that was from an Innistrad set as well.
Yeah, but that was a spirit, so a bit of a creature type nombo here with vampire. Because I feel like if this was a spirit, it would be so much better than Bygone Bishop in those decks.
Right. Yeah.
But then there's also that other one. I can't remember the name of it now. It's like from
The one that you pay 1 mana for, right?
one, and you pay one and draw a card.
Mentor
So-
of the Meek.
Yes, that's the one. Magic Duels All Star or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I'm really excited for this kind of card because mono white decks don't really get much card advantage.
No, yeah, and that kind of comes back to what we were saying in the other podcast, or in the other episode, where they're going on to this ability triggers only once each turn. I can't speak. Ability triggers only once each turn. Sort of restriction for card draw, and yeah, I think the fact that this doesn't cost you mana seems really, really powerful. I actually wonder, and I'd be keen to hear your opinion on this. Is this better than Monastery Mentor?
Excuse me? Monastery Mentor.
Sorry, Monastery. No, not Monastery. Mentor of the Meek. That's that's the card we were just talking about.
Oh,
You're right. It doesn't really compare to the.
It's kind
Mentor.
of hard to compare because Mentor of the Meek doesn't see play. I don't know. Did it see play in Standard at the time?
I actually don't know. I wasn't playing Standard at the time, so yeah, good question.
Yeah,
Good
we weren't
point.
really playing competitively.
True, but I guess in theory that effect has been considered to be like a pretty decent way to draw cards, like at least in things like Commander and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But the fact that this doesn't cost mana, I feel like makes this really powerful.
Yeah, yeah. The clause of it only happening once each turn, like, yeah, you can't go off with it, but like, drawing 1 to 2 cards of this and then it getting removed is like a good deal.
And I like that if you have sacrifice outlets that make you creatures, or any way to sort of generate a token on your turn, for no mana, you can draw a card immediately as this comes into play, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, that is good. Yeah, just on turn 4 or something. No. That's good.
So yeah, no, definitely pretty hyped for this card as well. And like flying 2/3 body is good.
Mm.
Also, it's Wonder Woman in the art, I think.
Is it actually?
No, but it looks like it could be.
Oh yeah, it kind of does. a little bit. Not much, but yeah, sure. And one more card I have for mono white is it's a bit of a clash with Thalia, but I feel like it'll be good anyway. And it's Valorous Stance.
Yes.
A good reprint was in Fate Reforged, I think it was.
Yes, it was. Yeah, that's right.
In Karn's block. I saw a lot of play there because it kills Siege Rhino. But it's 1 and a white for an instant. You choose one. Target creature gains indestructible until end of turn, or destroy a creature with toughness 4 or greater. So you get spot removal. You can protect your creature against stuff like Smoldering Egg. It kills Smoldering Egg. It kills Lair. It kills Goldspan Dragon. Kills Ren and 6. Kills Old Growth Troll. Chariot. There's just so many things.
Wow.
That this kills.
That's pretty relevant.
Redain in the mirror.
Yeah.
So many targets for this, and it could be a one-of in the main deck, but it'll definitely see a lot of play in the sideboards.
Yeah, and the indestructible clause is actually pretty relevant, right? Like they go to kill your creature, and you're like, nah.
Yeah.
Cool to see this back.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good to see. And I think that's it for.
Nah, it's not it. I have a couple of cards for
Okay.
you to append onto the end of your list.
Oh, okay.
For white decks.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Actually, yeah, I have one more white card.
Okay. Oh, you keep going for now then.
It might be one you were about to mention.
Ah, take it from me.
All right. Circle of Confinement. Was that one? Was that it?
What's that card? Tell me what it does.
It's 1 and a white for an enchantment. When it ETBs, exile a creature an opponent controls mana value 3 or less until Circle of Confinement leaves play. And then, whenever an opponent casts a vampire spell with the same name as the card exiled with Circle of Confinement, you gain 2 life.
Oh wow, that's actually pretty good.
So the first clause, same with stuff like Baffling End, which saw a lot of play. There was another one as well. I can't remember the name of it.
The one that exiles a tapped creature, right? And at flash.
Yeah,
That was a card.
yeah, yeah. But the long line of Journey to Nowhere's basically.
Yeah.
Uh, but that clause is already good. But when you're playing against a vampire deck, gaining 2 life when they cast a spell with the same name is relevant. Like that's really good
Yeah, for sure.
because the main reason for playing cards like this is in aggressive matchups, and vampires will be an aggressive deck. So
Yeah, not just vampires as well. When you hit other cards, like it still has good targets in green, for example.
yeah, Ogre Troll
Yep.
is a good, really good target. Clean answer.
Technically hits Smoldering Egg.
It does. Yes, it does. Yeah, has a lot of targets.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I missed that card actually. I didn't see it.
How
But glad you
dare
put it up.
you?
I know, I know.
Yeah.
It's alright, you got my back.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, what have you got then?
Well, there was a card that I kind of wanted to talk about, just because it looks kind of fun. Is Lantern Flare, which is
Oh,
1 and a white for an instant.
I did see this.
Yeah, it deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain X life, where X is the number of creatures you control. But it also has a cleave cost. Insert scratch pad sound here, like rewind. What does cleave do? Well, let me tell you. So if you cast a spell for its cleave cost, you remove text that's in square brackets within the card's text, and that looks a little bit weird, but it's at least pretty clearly visible what's going on the card. So in this case, the card that's in square brackets is the X is the number of creatures you control. So you would remove that, and the cleave cost has an X in the cost instead, and it costs red and white and X. So it kind of becomes like a weird fireball for a creature if you play the cleave cost, and if you don't pay the cleave cost, it's similar to what's the card you play in mono white sometimes, the McKindy
Oh, Kabira Takedown.
Kabira Takedown. That's the one. Yeah. So it has the ability to kill creatures. I guess technically kill planeswalkers. But the thing that's interesting is that it gains you life. So it could be potentially interesting against the aggressive matchup as well. Kind of like White's version of Blizzard Brawl, kinda maybe.
Maybe. I'm just bringing it up.
Lantern Flare was
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad if you're behind. But you do have the cleave cost as a failsafe. I don't think it's great, but I think it's got potential to see like maybe one-off play or something like that. Could be interesting.
It's not going to see play in mono white decks.
You reckon?
Well, Kabira.
Well, not with Thalia, especially actually.
Well, yeah, and Kabira Takedown is a land, so.
Yeah.
But if a red-white deck, I guess you don't have to be playing red really, but yeah, red. I guess you can play pathways. You can play like a red-white pathway.
Yeah, maybe.
And you can just put it on the red side if you want.
I guess you really want to have the life gain be relevant to be playing this card.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like this could be good in like a. Actually, could it be good in like a Jeskai control deck? Nah, probably not. You would have to play this in a creature heavy deck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Creature Jeskai control.
Like with
Jeskai mid range.
Yes.
Fan favorite.
Yes.
But yeah. Interesting card. And then the other one that's in white that I wanted to stick on to the end of your list, and I think this card's actually pretty sweet, is Wedding Announcement. So it's an enchantment for 2 and a white. And at the beginning of your end step, you put an invitation counter on it. If you attacked with 2 or more creatures this turn, you draw a card. Otherwise, you create a 1/1 white human creature token. And then if it has 3 or more invitation counters on it, you transform it. So transform is back, and it transforms into creatures you control get +1/+1 as a single line of text enchantment. So, I kind of like this card because it's like Lingering Souls, but it doesn't cost you. Oh, not like Lingering Souls. It's like Bitter Blossom, albeit downgraded in that you don't get the flying, and it costs 3 mana. but it's upgraded in that it triggers on the instep, so that you get an immediate creature or card draw. It has the ability to draw you cards, which in general is probably more worth it than a 1/1 white human creature token anyway. So that I'd see that as upside. And the fact that it flips into an anthem is pretty interesting, I think. Yeah, what are your thoughts on this card? It's pretty weird. It's got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, it would be hard to play. White decks just want to put creatures in play and attack. It draws cards, right? I can't actually remember what the card does.
Yeah, so it draws cards if you attacked with 2 or more creatures this turn. And if you didn't, you instead get creatures. So the way I kind of see this is, I feel like it could be kind of a mid-range card where you kind of play this, and what's going to happen is as you go about killing your opponent's creatures and sort of like trying to control the board, you keep getting these 1/1s, and you're going to get 3 of them. At which point it will have 3 announcement, or 3, what are they called? Invitation counters on it. And that's going to flip and make them 2/2s by giving your creatures +2, +1/+1. So it's kind of like a, yeah. What's that card called? The one that makes knights? Like a really slow History of Benalia.
Nah.
No?
I don't know. It's gonna be tough to play. Like, do you attack with your creatures, like to draw a card, or do you just want more creatures? It's very dependent on what's on the board. It's hard to kind of evaluate the card without seeing it in play.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I do almost wonder if I can play this in my tokens deck, because I mean, it's kind of like a Lingering Souls with Intangible Virtue on the backside. Like, I actually think this card's pretty. It's got something going for it. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
Slow.
It just, yeah, it is very slow. I don't know if mono white decks would want something like that, especially with Thalia.
Yeah.
But where else would you see it being played?
I mean, I'm going to be building black-white tokens in Standard for sure.
Yeah, of course
it's going
you
to
are.
be terrible.
Of course you are.
But this is my Lingering Souls.
Man, Lingering Souls, it draws a card. What?
Yeah, and it's got the anthem on the backside. Whoa.
Yeah.
But yeah, so kind of, I guess, yeah, more likely to be fun than overly competitive, but definitely fun. Yeah, handing back to you.
What have I got here? What do I want to talk about next? Are you sticking with removal?
Ooh.
A braid has
yes.
been reprinted and at common, which is relevant.
It's been
relevant for
wait for it.
The thriving format in Pauper. Huh?
It's
No.
been brought back.
No. Redacted. Anyway.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
I love a braid. I played a lot of it in Standard when it was in Armand Kit.
Yes.
But the great thing about this is it kills Chariot.
Oh yeah,
It kills
it does,
Chariot,
actually.
and it kills a lot of other things as well. It kills
all the creatures.
what's the card?
The
Stadium. Strixhaven Stadium.
Strixhaven Stadium. Oh no, Bohan, what are you gonna do?
Oh no. But
we'll have to quiz him about it next time.
Yeah. I don't think you bring it in against stuff like Celestis, because it doesn't kill anything else.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes it like 2 mana Shatter's just not good enough.
That's true.
And if you really need to, you can play like Skyclave Apparition, which kills those kind of things anyway. But yeah, I just thought I'd give a quick mention to a braid. It's back. And it'll be really good in Standard. Do not say anything.
I'd be surprised to not see this play. No, I wasn't thinking anything.
All right. Good. And another red removal spell, which is an upgrade on what we've seen play in Historic, actually. Flame Blessed Bolt.
Now that is a card I've never heard of.
What? Really?
What a dude.
It's just red, instant. It deals 2 damage to type creature or player. Oh, creature or planeswalker. If that creature or planeswalker would die, exile it instead. So,
Oh, right.
Pillar of Flame, Magma Spray, stuff like that have seen decent amount of play. Kills Arclight Phoenix, sorry, excuse me, in Historic, which is the most relevant target. But this can also deal with Planeswalkers, which is really good. It can kill.
Yeah, actually, that's nice.
It can kill a Ren 7 if it downticks. Yeah, and it can just do a lot of death trigger stuff, like with zombies.
Yeah, that's going to be relevant there for sure.
Yeah. So I can see this being seen playing a lot in Standard and Historic as well.
Yeah, interesting, actually.
It is just an upgrade on Magma Spray. Was it Magma Spray? No, it's Pillar of Flame. That's in Historic.
Both, kind of. Well, Magma Spray, I think Pillar of Flame is sorcery. Magma Spray is instant, but Pillar of Flame deals to any target. And Magma Spray only deals to creature, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so. But this deals to Planeswalkers as well. I don't...
Yeah.
Maybe you don't play this over Pillar of Flame because it can go face. But...
Yeah, but the instant speed is pretty relevant in some matchups, so it probably depends on the deck.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, nice addition, actually.
Yeah. And just one quick reprint, and then I'll pass it back to you. Is Syncopate.
Oh, Syncopate's back?
Yes.
I'm fighting the urge.
Yes, this it is back.
I love Syncopate. I played so much Syncopate when Niv Mizzet was all the...
It was Dominaria, right? I think it was.
Yeah, oh, was it Dominaria? Yeah, it was in Dominaria, and then we had like some sort of guild set. Ravnica, War of the Spark and stuff like that.
Was it?
Yeah, just that was the same. Because I remember playing Syncopate in... Wait, Syncopate is... No, I'm thinking of a different card, aren't I? Hold on. Read what Syncopate does for me and for the viewers.
It's blue and X.
Yep.
Instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays X. If this spell is countered this way, exile it instead.
Yes. Okay, cool. Because I know there was one, which I can't remember the name of, that also that scries 2 instead of exiling the spell.
Oh.
In Modern, somewhere.
Oh, yeah, it's played in Blue Tron.
Yeah, that's the one.
Condescend.
Condescend, yeah. And I sometimes get those two confused because they're long words in blue.
Yes. Yeah.
But no, yeah, Syncopate. Oh, I love Syncopate. It's the card I was thinking of, yeah.
And this kind of solves the problem of 2-mana counterspells in Standard. You've got Jwari Disruption, but it could be kind of awkward.
So much better.
Yeah, this is so much better. You might play a split, but because it's a land.
Yeah.
But you probably play 4 of these over the first Disruption, I feel. Maybe you could probably go 3 in 1. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the numbers shake out, but definitely this is gonna see play in decks somewhere. Somebody's gonna be playing this. And it's gonna be doing well.
Oh yeah. This will slot quite nicely into the Blue Red Dragons decks and control decks.
For sure, yeah. And again, the exile, nice.
Yeah.
Hit some things.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. It's done with the reprints. What have you got?
All right. So what else do we have here? Got a couple of card draw options. that I want to talk about. Just quick mentions because they're kind of interesting. So we got Inspired Idea, which costs 2 and a blue. And it has Cleave, which we talked about before. So yeah, sorcery, draw 3 cards, and then the Cleave text that you would remove if you paid the Cleave cost of 5, which is 3 and blue, would be your maximum hand size is reduced by 3 for the rest of the game. So just to summarize, if you cast this without paying its Cleave cost, your maximum hand size is reduced by 3, and if you cast it for 5 for its Cleave cost, it's not reduced by anything. So you just straight up draw 3 cards for 5. I don't think this card's like insane, and I don't think it really slots into any particular deck. But 3 mana to draw 3 cards and at least the first time you play this, you're not getting much of a downside, is definitely something to take note of. These kind of effects, we've seen. Is it like Ideas Unbound, or so? There's some sort of card in that costs blue and blue in Modern, where
Yeah.
you draw 3 cards, then you discard your hand at the end of the turn.
Yeah, that's the one.
Ideas Unbound,
Yeah.
yeah. That's seen play in some combo decks historically, and if there's a combo deck that just wants to draw cards at any cost, I could see this being the kind of card that's lost into it.
Yeah, I can also see this being played in a blue aggressive deck.
Yeah, like as a 1 or 2 of sort of thing.
Just empty your hand and then play this.
Yeah,
It seems really good.
you probably don't want to play like more than 2, because the second one you play makes your hand size 1, which is kind of awkward.
Yeah, it kind of depends how many lands you have in play at that point.
Yeah,
Like if you're able, like on turn, I don't know, 6 or 7 or something. If you've got like
play 2 more spells.
yeah, like you could play it with like Ascended Spirits and like Delvers and stuff.
True. Cheap creatures, chuck them out.
Just cheap random creatures, yeah. I
that's
think
an
that could be
interesting
good. But you probably
Delver.
it does flip Delver, but yeah, you're not playing more than 2 of this card. I don't think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's no way.
I guess quickly just moving through another card draw spell that I just want to mention super quickly.
Okay.
Winged Portent, which is 1 in blue instant. Draw a card for each creature in bracket with flying close bracket you control. So if you pay its cleave cost of 4 green and a blue, you draw a card for each creature you control. If you pay its normal cost of just 1 blue, you draw a card for each creature with flying you control. And I think this card is probably not going to see play in Standard, but it will be really fun to build the all 1-drop flying creatures. Play this, refill your hand like a Crow Storm kind of deck.
Is this a common?
Nah, it's a rare.
Oh, okay.
Not it would it would be so good in the Stormcrows deck in Pauper.
Yes, the Pauper All-Star deck.
Yeah.
Stormcrows.
So powerful.
Stormcrow.deck.
Nah, unfortunately not. But I'm still gonna play this guy.
Yeah.
Moving through some of the other cards, just to mention a couple. Oh man, there's some really cool cards. One I definitely want to mention is Dollhouse of Horrors.
Oh yeah.
Which is an artifact for 5 mana. It has 1 and tap it. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. You make a token that's a copy of the exiled card, but it's a 0/0 construct, and so it has the construct ability that it gets +1 for each other. Well, actually, it's not for each other artifact you control in this case. It's for each construct you control. But that will scale. So the more times you activate this, the bigger all your constructs are going to be. And it gains haste until end of turn, so you can swing in immediately. But you can only trigger it as a sorcery. So
if you have 4 corridor monitors in your graveyard and you have 4 mana, you can
kind of go off like that. Yeah, there's some interesting lines there. But I guess that's why this card's interesting, is that it's a way to get value out of cards in your graveyard. You keep the abilities, so you can do some pretty sweet stuff, as you were saying, with untappers. But you can also just sort of reanimate cards with powerful into the battlefield triggers or other abilities that are interesting. I'm not sure exactly where this card fits, but again, I think there's some potential to be doing fun things with this.
I'll definitely play it in limited.
For sure, you'd slam this in any limited deck, right? Like you see this, this is like.
Well, not an aggressive deck, nah.
I think you would.
Nah.
The creatures are gonna die. You just bring them back. They gain haste. You can like build back a board. So again.
Yeah, although I have seen a lot. Well, not a lot of discussion. It's one of those. Khan wish boards, right?
Yeah.
Why is it whenever a clunky artifact comes out, everyone is like, "Is this good in Etron? This has got to be good in Etron, right? It's a wish target." No, this is awful. Why would you play this?
I'm not sure about that one. It's interesting. I'm not sure about it though.
No, stop.
I think what happens, right, is people keep looking at the same like 15 cards in the sideboard, and they're really sick of them. So they just want to put in. They're desperate for anything.
It's the same with Lithoform Engine. It's awful. People are going nuts about that card. No, stop putting bad artifacts in your wish board. That's all I have to say. I
agree with that, Rand. I second that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sweet to brew around this card. Oh, there's so many cards in the set I want to brew around.
Mm,
This is
definitely.
one. What about you? You got any brewables?
Not really brewables as such. A little uncommon that I really
Oh
like,
yeah.
and it's a card that I will probably play a lot of. That's Wandering Mind.
Ooh, what does that do?
It's 1 blue-red for a 2/1 flying horror. When it ETBs, look at the top 6 cards in your library, may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them, and put it into your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah! So, I love this kind of effect.
Yeah.
Just a body that gets some value.
You've always been one for the 1/1 Thopter for 3 that draws a card.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, that's cool.
I can't remember. I was like, oh, it's great. And you never picked it. It was so sad. But it's stuff like Pilgrim's Eye as well. Like
Yes.
I just love that kind of card. I think it'll see play standard. I have hope that it'll see play standard. It'll be great.
Yeah,
limited,
it's a
limited
2/1.
bomb.
You were saying, eh?
Yeah, it's a 2/1 flyer.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good stats. Yeah, not
Yeah, I can see that.
Not too much else to say about that.
Oh yeah. I guess there's one card that I want to mention just because of raw power level, which is Symmetry Prowler. So I think this might be the first card from the Symmetry cycle that we're mentioning. But pretty much the cycle of Symmetry cards, there's one mythic in each color, and they each exile a card from a graveyard, and then have an ability based on what card type you exiled from the graveyard. So in the case of Prowler, it's the green one. It costs 1 green. It's a wolf, 3/4 with vigilance. So already these are some pretty sweet stats. Like, you get a keyword ability. It's a 3/4 for 3, so that's a pretty good body. And when it enters the battlefield, it exiles a card from a graveyard, so it kind of has some graveyard hate. Or attacks, by the way, so you can get multiple cards exiled. But the extra text on this card is spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card type they share with cards exiled with Symmetry Prowler. So as you exile more cards from putting it in or attacking, you get to reduce the cost of your other spells. And since it's on 3, you can definitely get some tempo gain off that.
Yeah. I do like the Symmetry cycle as a whole. And the green one is definitely one I think. I don't know if it's the most powerful one. It might be. I think it's top
That's the
2.
one that I think is the most powerful one from looking at the cards. But what are the?
I think it's top 2.
What's the other one? What's the top one if there was another contender for it?
Symmetry Gatekeeper, the red one.
What does that do again? Oh yes, that one. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe walk us through that.
Yeah. It's 1 red for a 2/1 first strike vampire. When it enters the battlefield, exile a card from a graveyard. And whenever a player plays a land or casts a spell, if it shares a card type with the exiled card, the Gatekeeper deals 2 damage to that player.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I've seen this be compared to Eidolon of the Revel, the Great Revel a lot.
Yeah.
And it's a very situational thing where this is better, that one's better than these situations kind of stuff. I think it could see play in Burn in Modern. It could even see play in Standard in the Vampire decks. It is a vampire.
Yeah, I think this definitely has a lot of potential in Standard because you just choose an instant or sorcery against the control decks, and that's you're getting some damage.
Yeah, they kill it, they take 2 damage anyway. So
yeah, I think in Modern, I'm still fairly certain that in Burn, you're gonna prefer to have Eidolon in most matchups, but I think it's interesting to play around with it still.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm not too sure. Yeah, it could be a sideboard card against stuff like Amulet Titan. That could be very interesting.
Right, just choose a land and...
Yeah. Choose a land, they put a bunch of lands
if they skip shift, they lose.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, they would lose, because the Velocart triggers would resolve second, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, that is funny. No, that's an interesting one. I think we'll see play across multiple formats. Yeah. And that's my list of cards.
Cycle. Nice. Sweet as. I guess just to close off, that I don't have anything else that I want to bring up. Man, you didn't even talk about Drakehaven.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad. Don't play it.
So Drakehaven is actually dying to serve. It's 2 and a black enchantment. When you discard 1 or more cards, you create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token, but you can only trigger it once each turn.
Once each turn is so trash.
You can just do it during your opponent's turn.
It's so
Blood
trash.
tokens, 2/2s.
It's so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty sweet, but it definitely isn't gonna have the power level of Drakehaven. Mostly just because cycling was just tied to every card in the deck,
Yeah.
and we don't have as many ways to easily discard cards. Even if we have blood tokens, it's not just stapled to all the cards. And nobody's playing Drakehaven in Modern, but in other formats that Drakehaven could see play in, if that's such a thing, like in Historic, you could probably build a cycling deck with Dying to Serve, like from all the cycling cards.
Maybe.
Because you just cycle during your turn during their turn. That's 2 zombies. And realistically, with the cycling cost and the paying for Drakehaven, you probably weren't getting much more than 2 Drakes per turn anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Maybe. It could be Drakehaven 5 and 6, maybe.
Is Drakehaven legal in Historic?
Yes, it is. It is the first deck I built when Historic was announced.
Nice. Well, there we go. Chuck this in, and you got your redundancy.
Maybe. We'll see.
Fits right in.
Yeah. Well, the Drakehaven deck's blue-white, but
Easy.
We'll try.
Easy.
We'll try.
Yeah. I guess there's not too much else that I'm super burning to bring up, but I guess I did mention that I'd been playing that mono blue tempo list and that it was awful against mono white a few weeks back, and Consuming Tide is maybe an interesting answer to some of those cards, and I think it's interesting to talk about it, even if it's just a card that's uncertain in terms of its playability. But I'll just mention that real quick. It's 2 and blue for a sorcery. Each player returns each permanent they control, except for a permanent that they choose, to their owner's hands. And then you draw a card for each opponent who has more cards in their hand than you. And I think that's interesting because if you're playing a Delver of Secrets E deck and you just have like single threats, and your opponent's aggressive deck is sort of going wider than you, then this might be a way to sort of keep up with them. I'm not sure how good it is, because if they just keep a bigger creature than you, you're probably still losing that race. But maybe you play this and you like bounce their remaining creature or something, and it can be something to experiment with at least.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of talk about this card. We'll see how that plays out.
Thoughts?
It could be interesting. I don't know. I'm not really too sure what other... Yeah, the mono blue deck, I guess, but I'm not too sure what else you would want to see this in.
Yeah.
Play this in. Yeah.
You play this and you keep your dragon. You keep your Goldspan.
Yeah, like, that's powerful. Yeah.
Interesting, at least. But yeah, I think that pretty much rounds it out, at least in terms of the cards I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, that's good. Good. We did go over a lot of cards, so.
Yeah, that's pretty good for now. If you want to see any more cards, I think the full set is all out now. And there's a lot of sweet stuff in there, even stuff that we didn't talk about. That's pretty interesting. So encourage y'all to go check it out.
Yeah, we didn't. There were some cards that I wanted to go over. Well, I've seen them talked about a lot, but I didn't really want to go over them because they've been talked about elsewhere.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I guess check out other content creators as well for more info. But otherwise, the set's releasing in a couple of days as we're recording this. Fingers crossed we'll be able to get this episode out before the set releases. But yeah, otherwise, not long to wait until you can play the cards firsthand and see how good they really are.
Yeah, I'll be excited to see.
And I'm hyped for that. Yeah, so keen for some testing.
Yeah.
And just to mess around with these cards, like they seem so sweet. I really like, just overall parting thoughts is like the mechanics in the set. I think they did a really good job with all of them. I really like everything they've done. They've got some really interesting new cards, and I don't think they've pushed the power level too high. Like there's definitely some pretty potent cards in here, but I think overall it doesn't feel like it's just gonna break everything. But yet there's a lot of playability, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Dying down the power level, I think, over from what we've seen in the past few years, I think is good.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely without making it Ixalan level either.
Oh yeah. But no one wants that again.
Nah. But yeah, all right. I guess that closes it off. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week for first impressions of the format, and maybe discuss some of the limited experiences from the new limited format.
Yeah,
And other things.
sounds good.
Have a good one.
See ya.